pretty fun to have all these celebrities here competing with us.
Yeah, let's list out who was here. We were watching Harvick go around the track. I was curious if you've run into any of them or had any conversations.
I haven't seen anybody on the racetrack that I kind of was looking, but I didn't really see anybody that I recognized. I did get behind Briscoe for a minute. He was kind of up ahead of me a little ways, but saw him run a couple corners. Chastain texted me.
Yeah, he's here.
He said, man, you look really loose. That was in the first practice. And I was like, yeah, we should be loose the way the tires are. We're fine. But he must have been behind me at one point.
Yeah, I think we were trying to decide which car Chastain was in. And is he in that pink car?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh, okay. Yeah, then that makes sense.
The first practice he eased up on you. In the second practice, he when you had the tires on, he went around a couple cars to follow you, and then he drove away.
Yeah,
so he got the experience on the tires. He's loose now.
Yeah, I told him. I said, I'm not surprised by the way it was loose, and I think we're gonna put tires on that should fix it, and they will do that. They will drive that way. I'm like, you can have the car, whatever that magical best in the world setup is, you could put that under this car and it's still going to drive sideways off the corner at lap 75. There's no way around that.
So when you guys are talking about saving tires, I think Ross Chastain out on the track trying to save tires, I just don't see those two things going together, but we'll see.
We'll have to see. I mean, I don't know really. I watched him a little bit, watched Harvick a little bit.
What do you think about him? What do you from what you saw from the Cup guys or the guys that are trying this for the first time? What you think?
I think it's going to be a challenge. Yeah. I really do.
For them or going against them?
No, I think it's going to be a challenge for them.
Got it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good bit different than what they're used to. I think, but you just never know. And it's like I said, sometimes it's hard to tell because you don't know who has tires on, who doesn't have tires on. Sometimes obviously we'll know. You really don't know until qualifying comes around.
Yeah.
But you try to pick up on things, and like I said, I think it's going to be a challenge. I mean, everybody. I didn't see a whole lot of them run, but it's going to be an adjustment. I mean, this is his first outing
ever,
not only for him but also for his car, right? So that's something even to Dale's credit, right? Like we're relying on everything through the first few races with Carson so some of these guys are in new situations and learning. So it's going to be an eye-opening experience. I hope that, and I feel like the competitors in them, hopefully they don't get too discouraged if it doesn't go right.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think that I wanted to say, like you were mentioning Harvick, Rodney Childers built their car. They bring it here for the first race. They've tested it, and they thought the test went really well. They had a little struggle today, but they're on some weird tires. You never know. I told them, I said, man, you might bolt on tires tomorrow that are more like what you're going to race, and that thing will everything's cured. So the other guys, Rodney and Harvick put this car together. They worked on it for 2 years, and it's here. Now, if they were to struggle, it's because it's a brand new car and you're working the bugs out. You don't know, trying to learn how to make this thing handle. That's a daunting task. The other guys, all of them are in cars with team owners and people that have participated in this series. Mm-hmm. So those cars should come relatively somewhat in the ballpark, right?
Yeah.
That you would think. They're renting from very reputable series teams who can afford or who have that much inventory to be able to put that many cars on the racetrack. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm sitting in that car, and we go out there and we run them laps and how good it's driving. I was thinking, man, I wish Harvick could drive this, right? Or I wish I could get out of this car and have a line of Cup guys just hop in and run a couple laps, just so they could feel like what a great race car feels like and what a great late model stock car feels like, right? Because we want more of them to come try this and do this with us. We got other races that I think work on their schedule. We got a Wednesday Caraway event coming up that I think Harvick's going to run again. And so we got Kenny Wallace coming to Tri-County.
That's right.
Is it Memorial Day? Yeah. Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
He's coming in town. So Tri-County on Saturday night will be a 30,000 to win race where we'll have Kenny Wallace showing up in the filter time car. That's going to be fun.
Dude, the Cars Tour right now, man, is so hot, right?
It's so
things. Exciting stuff. And just Kevin racing in this race, knowing that he's part of the ownership group is so fun.
I've talked to Burton. Now, he's going to – it was a while ago, but I did talk to Jeff Burton, and I said, man, you're going to drive in a race in one of these cars. So my intention, what he said he would be okay with, was to maybe go to a Florence Motor Speedway on a regular weekend when they're running, a twin 40s or whatever, and he would just slide in unannounced and race the Sundrop car, run one of our cars. I think that would be the only way he would ever race. I don't think he'd ever want to come and do this, but he'd show up somewhere because he says he's so worried about being beat. And I was like, man, that was my problem. That's why it took me 15, 20 years to come back. It's because I was like, I'm going to just get my kicked. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound fun. I mean, I want to try it. I want to do it. But
I get it.
Once you get through that and over that, because who helped me with that? Didn't even know he was helping me with it, was Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott went to the Chili Bowl, and he's doing all these other things. And I'm like, he don't care if he gets his kicked. He's just there to try it. He wants to try it. Like that's the attitude right there. I got the wrong damn attitude. And so that was interesting to see those guys going and being willing to get your kicked. I mean, when you race for 20 years in a Cup Series and you get a damn big ass ego, and you ain't wanting to go to run some local short track and get your ass handed to you by the local boys.
Because this crowd will sure damn tell you about it if you have let them down or you didn't win or something or you didn't put somebody in the wall.
I know that
we
sounds
were
silly.
up there in the concourse, and I'm telling you, we're hearing it from the fans. They'll let you know exactly
That's the way your
what they
mind
think.
thinks after you've been a Cup racer for a while. You're like, oh, man, I can't go get my ass kicked.
Right.
But it's okay now.
Dude, listen, all right. So what is the format that we can expect on Wednesday night? The format. You said 125 laps.
Well, it's basically the Cars Tour event is it's 125 laps, and if they have 40 green flag laps straight, they'll throw a yellow. So there's competition yellows, but only when there's 40 straight green flag laps. If there's a natural caution, that resets that clock. And I think at some point we get to the end of the race and the clock also just goes away completely.
Under 25 to go.
So under 25 to go, that competition yellow doesn't happen. So that's, I don't mind that. I think that we talk about it's a bit like a stage break, but you kind of don't know when it's going to come or when it might happen, and you don't so it doesn't really make the strategy of the race that rigid. There's a little flow, a little bit of fluidness to it. It's somewhat predictable, but not as much as like, here we're going to stop at lap 50. We're going to stop at lap 100. That's it. Plan your race. Put your tires on when you want. Everybody's going to do it at the same time. But and they probably will tomorrow with the Cars Tour, but I kind of like that. You just that could maybe change in the future as far as 40, 50, whatever it needs to be, but we could play with that a little bit, but I like that part of the tour. That's something unique.
All right, Josh. So basically, this is all in your hands now. You are the crew chief. You are, we thought you had more time in your days to dedicate your life and get your priorities straight. So here's one more thing. So you're going to give Dale Jr. his last bit of advice before y'all go. Oh, you still got another practice.
Yeah, we practice again tomorrow.
All right. Well, maybe save the speech. You're going to give him big motivation speech. You're going to tell him save his tires. You just give him one right before he cranks it up.
Yeah, I'm not a big motivational speaker.
I'm not going to do that.
I don't. He knows what he needs to do.
Josh will not as I'm pulling away to get onto the racetrack, but in the 5 minutes before I climb into the car, he tells me the most important thing I needed to know. In that moment, that's one thing I've always working with Josh. There's one thing he's going to tell you before you get in the car, and it's the important thing. That's the one thing that you need to pay attention to.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. He's pretty easy to work with. Today, simple as pie. You just sit back, give him good information, stay calm. He's going to work. He's going to get in there in that hot wheel well on top of that hot rotor, change a shock. He's going to grind it out. And, the guy that's racing in the Xfinity and Cup level is underneath the car working like the rest of them. And so you got to appreciate that, and you got to realize how lucky and fortunate you are to have somebody with so much knowledge willing to be here. Everybody in this garage would love to have Josh standing there just giving it just an advisory role to get them through the weekend.
Josh, everybody's wondering this, and I guess I was too last August, and we were just thinking, why is Josh not wanting to drive this thing?
We talked about that today.
And I got to ask again. I mean, you were last August, you were like, no, I want to be Dale's crew chief. You were adamant about that. Again, you got some guys that you're racing every weekend out here, and so is there a little part of you wishes you in a race car?
No, definitely. I would I would love to be out there, but at the same time, it's the same answer as what it was before. Obviously, coming here last year to North Wilkesboro, that was such an experience, and it was really important to us as at our late model program to make sure that we did a really good job for him, because he's done so much in supporting us and supporting our late model program and throughout the years that we wanted to make sure that we had everything, and really for us it's operating the same way that it did when I raced, right? Like I'd work on the car and drive the car, it's my buddies, same kind of cast that always helped us racing. So, to me, I get just as much enjoyment out of coming and doing this as I would driving. What I love to be getting the experience at Wilkesboro. It's no secret. There's probably a good chance I'm going to run the All-Star race this weekend. Would I like to be running the car for that? Maybe. But, I had just as much fun helping him last year and being a part of that. And we, like I said, for me, he's done so much for me over the years that it's no problem at all for me to come out here and go racing with him 3 or 4 times a year.
He tested, with us before August last year. We came out here and ran a little bit. So he ran some laps on the racetrack. So I keep forgetting that, because even today we were standing in the holler and I said, man, I'm having a great time. I'm loving what we're doing, but I so badly want him to race in a car store race here or a late model stock race at this racetrack. And I've laughed to myself because I thought, well, you might be racing this weekend with the 48. You're more than likely going to be back here at some point in the future. And now I just realized again, I remember him driving the car in the test when we came here before August. So, he knows, he's gotten an education about Wilkesboro, that's been pretty fun to see him go through. And I think that, the opportunity for him to drive at this racetrack, there'll be plenty of those. But I told him today, I said, man, I really want you to eventually one time race in a late model stock car here, because I think, I was talking to somebody else in the garage today, I don't know a better marriage between late model stock and track than North Wilkesboro. Now, when they repave this place, which they will one day, that could change a little bit. Yeah. But this place was built, for cars like this. This is absolutely what they ran in the 80s and even the early 90s. A manual box and the same sort of chassis and similar tires, probably more than likely closer in softness and size to what you race today in the Cup Series, but and power even. These cars don't have a lot of power in the late model stock series, but there wasn't a lot of power back in them in the early 80s when they were grinding around this racetrack. So I think he'd really enjoy it. It's just such a fun time just making laps here. Hey, if you like that video, like and comment below, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss another piece of Dirty Mo Media content.